Bring me when the day show me how the sun shines. Tell me about your heartache. Who could be so unkind? Do you dream to touch me? Smile way down deep inside. Or could you just kill me, baby? Call, make up your mind sometime. My angel, my dear bones, and the bone in my pride. My angel and the devil, baby, bone in my pride, yeah. Yes, it is. Wanting inspiration, yeah, you spill your secrets on me. You tell me with a whisper, ooh, of things that'll never be. Do you hear me breathing? Yeah, baby, does it make you just wanna scream? Ever like a bad dream? Yeah, sometimes you know this life is a scene. You know what I mean, baby? Angel, devil, alone in my pride. My angel and the devil, alone in my pride. Yeah, the angel and the devil, and I got them both in my mind. Yeah. Get my angel, get my devil, and alone in my pride. Dig it. Love on me with your love light shine, yeah. Say, lover, come on, cover me with a good dream. And that said, let that love light
But look. Wait, let's check this out. Could he do that, you think? No. So we're on? All right, welcome to the show. We were just finishing up a little debate on who played lead better, me or Trey. And that was just, I've never heard him do that one. So technically he might be better, but I'm way funnier at it. You know? No one ever laughs at his solos. Okay, so you caught us mid-hang. We've just been sitting here. We're excited to do this record for you. This has been fun, and I've been looking forward to this one. At this time in our saga, our hero is pissed, really angry. I always loved, I've never, when I was real young, I would get angry about singing sometimes, first couple records, but never since. I always liked singing, and it's always been a place to hide from the world. But in this time in my life, things were happening in my family that we were enduring that was just, that I don't want to get into, but it's just unbearably painful, and it was tearing my own house apart, and man, I just was pissed for a couple of years. I even tried to golf. I still can do it. That's how I had a pot dealer, and he was like, man, you are just so down all the time. You need to get outside and golf. I was like, man, that's not very folk. And then Mark, my friend, showed up one day with a golf bag and said, I'm supposed to teach you to golf. So I was like, okay. It was that guy, remember? And then I went out there, and Mark said, okay, see that flag down there? You got to take one of these sticks and hit that thing all the way down to it and get it in the hole. So that was easy. It didn't take long to learn at all. And then, so I was trying to play golf. I was doing my shows and stuff, but I was pretty blacked out during them, and I wasn't thinking about music. I had just gone on a trip on a houseboat, and I took Modern Times with me, the new Dylan record, and I played it one time through, and then I played it another time through, and then I threw it in the lake. And then I took all my notebooks of my words, and I threw those in the lake. And I was going to stop, but it's like an OCD thing for me and so I would only write lines down. I was trying not to make up songs, but I couldn't stop if I saw something I thought was vulnerable or descriptive or funny. I would just write it just that, and with no intention of doing anything with it. And I was keeping index cards of them just for, you know how some people have to click the lights off a few times. And so then I started to run out of money, and my manager said, man, fuck, you have to make a record. And so I took all those index cards and I put them all around the walls of this one room in my house, and I started making songs like puzzles, and I really liked it. But also once I started doing that, I started coming up with just normal songs too. Every day I would get up and walk to this bar, the Drifters. We would meet down there with about 7 or 8 people, and we were trying to race to death. Or, just trying to drink like a pro. And we'd sit down there and procrastinate. And one day, you would probably remember that one day, who's that cat that passed away? Those 2 guys, they love David Grohl. And we were talking about religion and how it started. And that just happened to be one of the things that was always bugging me at the time. And so I came up with this is like a bar riff. This was like, I said, I just was like, so what if it was this way? And as soon as I got done, everyone in the bar was like, oh, you should make the song out of that, remember? And so I chipped away at these words, I'm sorry. And that's all our time for today. So anyway, I chipped away at these words, and then when I finally got them done, I made up this music. Let's see, it was in the beginning, man wondered to himself. He said, why are we even here? And yet with each asking of this question, the answer would become less clear. Overwhelmed by fear, distraction took its place, and so it must have been in the world's first shelter that we began the human race to fill up more and more empty space. And oh, how we must have loved the human race. Until one day this one guy says to this other guy, he says, hey man, have you seen this guy over here? Seems like he's got more than anybody else has got, man. To me, that just doesn't seem fair. Well, the second guy agreed with the first guy. Everybody else did too. They all got so worked up that they figured that they knew what they needed to do. They would divide all his stuff up among each other after they killed him, of course. For they could see no real good reason not to just take whatever they wanted to by force. But when they found him, he said, hey, wait a minute, fellas. I wouldn't kill me just now. You can see I've got more than any of you all ever got. Wouldn't you first at least like to know how? And with that, he had their attention. And with that, he went on loud and clear. He said, you all know how long we have always wondered. We've wondered why, oh, why are we even here? Well, today I'm going to teach you all about that. I'm going to teach you a little suffering and bliss. I'm going to teach you all about a place called heaven and a God that gave me all this. He said, God gave me all this because I'm humble. And he can do the same for you too. But if you are seeking his love and affection, I'll tell you what you are doing. That's the last thing I do. You know, the Lord sends killers to hellfire, both here and then again eternally. And the good live forever in a beautiful heaven. God told me that personally. So unless you want struggling and heartache, unless you want troubles and fear, you better find some kind of way to humble yourself. May I suggest helping me clean up a little bit around here? Of course, I could pay you just a little bit to do it, but more importantly, the good Lord would see. He would see that you was working humbly for something, and he would reward you the way that he rewarded me. He said, who you gonna trust if you can't trust me? Who you gonna trust if you can't trust me? That up. I did, didn't I? What did I leave out? Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to start over. Now, I'm really off to a bad start these last couple weeks. As soon as I got done, I thought, oh, fuck, I fucked that up. I'm going to do that again today. You know, because I'm trying to make records of these. I'll just fix it after. But what's that? Yeah, but I got encores. I want to fix stuff from last week. I don't know. I wasn't looking at the telecopter. Way overconfident. So yeah, I'll just stay with it this time. This song I made up. I was playing in Washington D.C. and the owner of the club came back with Secret Service men, and I didn't know what was going on. They said Rahm Emanuel was going to come to the show. And next thing I know, he's in the dressing room with me. I'm sitting there hanging out with him. He's working for Obama. I really liked him. We had some beers. And he told me that I should make up a song about bankers. And then I didn't know what that meant, you know. And so I asked my father-in-law, who knew a lot about that kind of stuff, and he told me this particular story about these guys in Arkansas. And I thought, okay, I'll do this. And so I made this up for my friend Rom. And then when I played Chicago, he came and he introduced me. I don't know which team he's on in the politics, but he's always a nice guy, I thought. And this song was inspired by him. He said it'd be good for, there was these teachers that got, well, here it goes like this. All these years, Arkansas, teaching at the high school. How was I to know my retirement day? I learned a lesson so cruel. I came to the day I had waited on just to find out all the money and our pension was gone. Invested in something called an abacus bond, sold to us by a New York banker. Good things happen to bad people. Bad people, bad, all good things happen to bad people. A big-time banker from New York City, he come down south one day. He sold our people on the bond, had our money betting on some kind of home alone getting paid. Behind they said we was clearly told this kind of thing was even safer than gold. But we found out later bond we'd been sold had been set up to fail all along. Good things happen to bad people, bad people. Bad people, good things happen to them. Set up to fail all along, though none of our people had ever quite sensed it. Come to find out the bond been born to fail, so that the banker he could bet against it. But when the house market crashed, our retirement did too. Everybody said there was nothing we could do. Banker walked off with $1 million or two, and I'm still teaching at the high school. The good things that happen to bad people, bad people. Good things happen to bad people, bad people. Good things that happen to them. Well, there, I got that one. Shit, I play that other one all the time. That's gonna eat at me. This one I didn't make up. This song was come up with by Jimmy Buffett. Man, that cat, he's made so many records and he's done so much for so many people. He's employed so many people for so long. And, just such an altruistic guy and a poet, like very much a Mark Twain of our time. Still live, kicking, taking great care of himself, making great music. Jimmy, I love you. This song got me when I was really young. I felt connected to this girl. And this is off, I think it's Living and Dying in 3/4 Time. That might be my favorite Jimmy record. And I send this out to him and all the guys in the crew. I remember the night we recorded this, the band, everyone was in their spots. And I had the guitar and I went out into the big room and I sang the song for everybody. And they all kind of just played a little bit. And then I went in and I said, okay, let's try it. And Eric said, well, you should hear that, what you guys just did, because he had recorded it, the dry run, and that's what we ended up keeping. So my stuff's getting picked up in the drum mic, but it's still a good take, I think. All right, let's see if we can get this one. You know what, he made like 6 shows in a row with no hits, and then, tough though, towards the end of the game. The announcers probably said I had a no-hitter going on TV and jacked me. Well, looking pretty good, though. Look, I'm still making roses. Where'd I tell you that? That came out today. Standing by the side of the Highway 4 exit, a lady in tie-dye with a bag by her side, not really looking like anything special. Saw my Tennessee tags and she waved for a ride. She sat right beside me as the meter hit 60, explaining her travels and her family background. But when she got through, I could not help but thinking, she's a long way from a West Nashville Grand Ballroom gown. Yeah, she's a long way from a West Nashville Grand Ballroom gown. Her father had money and her mother had love, channeled entirely to her dear sister Dove. 22 years in society's plan, canceled at the swing of her dear mother's hand. 6 hours later, we hit Cincinnati. Yawning, she woke and then asked where we were. But when she found out, she said, I must be going. Seemed this close to Nashville, was it too close for her? So I stopped by the roadside and I gave her $5. She took it in, she kissed me, and she gave me a note. She told me to read it, then mail it in Nashville. On old loose leaf paper to her mother she wrote. She said, Mama, I'm fine if you happen to wonder. Well, I don't have much money, but I still get around. I haven't met church in near 36 Sundays. So fuck all those West Nashville Grand Ballroom gowns. Fuck all those West Nashville Grand Ballroom gowns. Yeah, she's a long way from a West Nashville Grand Ballroom gown. All right, I'm back on a roll. At least the Danish, the very least. This one, so you can tell I was kind of, so far all the songs kind of pissed off. Even this one, it's kind of pretty, but it was so offensive to me. Like this, these kids in East Nashville had, they had just got themselves worked up into that gangster frenzy, and they decided they had to go. I don't know where that comes from, but these kids just walked next door and shot the fucking people that lived next door and took their Game Boy or whatever the fuck that is. It was so disheartening, you know. And then I made up this song. Kids, it's hard to comprehend them. Everybody knows it's true. Kids will never understand them, no matter what we do. Take the kids around here, for instance, if you will. They drive around looking for someone to kill, not even for the money, but rather for the thrill. Oh, kids, they can be a handful, kids. pants around their hip bones. Why wear your pants like that? Come here, kid. Let me hitch up your britches, and while we're at it, let's fix your hat. It's askew, you know. I know that your school is a joke, and you'll always be poor, and your pleas to the rich have been heard and ignored. Oh, is that what all you crazy kids are so upset for? Come on now. There's still fun things to do here, for instance. We could go down to the park and pick up all the garbage that's laying around. Or maybe we could work a bunch of skits up and perform them for the people in town. You know, life is such a joy for so many of us. We can't take too much more of your push. Come to shove us, what we need you kids to do is buckle down and love us. Come on, kids, buckle down and love us. And Trey doesn't whistle at all. Yep. I'm back in the game, man. Shit. Well, that's fun. This is probably my favorite album. Although, you know, it was a darker kind of album. We went over to Eric's, and I was kind of like struggling with wanting to make it, and we knew it was going to be a chaotic thing, and so I asked him to get a violin player, and he said that this Amanda Shires was going to be perfect. And the first thing she ever said to me, the first time I met her, she says, "You want to see my Christmas face?" And I went, "Sure." And she went, "All right, I'm having that chick. Nice." And then I had met Jason a couple times, briefly, but she was like, "Can my boyfriend come over?" And he came over, and I heard one of the songs off Southeastern, and I was like, "Oh, look the fuck out, man." And he really had his feet under him, too. You could just feel it. He was formidable like John. In fact, in the middle of this record, just because he took over and did some of the edits on the guitar, because, I mean, for free, just out of the kindness of his heart, but it would help me. I was playing electric guitar for the first time, and he was being very encouraging. I've learned a lot about guitar from both of them. This song I came up with my buddy Will Kimbrough. We were at my place in East Nashville. And just again, I was promising myself I wasn't going to trust somebody again, you know. Of course I did, but, you know, Will came up with the music, and most of the words I did. This is the last time, the very last time you're gonna break my heart. Unlike the last time, this is the last time you're gonna break my heart. Staring down the barrel of a lonesome truth. We never got that far. From the worn out welcome of our wasted youth, I see the way we are. This is the last time, the very last time you're going to break my heart. Unlike the last time, this is the last time you're gonna break my heart. I had a dream where you came to see me. You asked if I was okay. That's how I knew that I was a dreaming. You asked if I was okay. This is the last time, the very last time you're gonna break my heart. Unlike the last time, this is the last time you're gonna break my heart. So many things that I had hoped for, so many things I fear. It's like tears into a river, the way they all disappear. This is the last time, the very last time you're gonna break my heart. Unlike the last time, this is the last time you're gonna break my heart. You're gonna break my heart. That's the first song from this new thing I was doing, where by the time that Bert said I needed to make a record, I went and got all those little one lines, and I made a deck of cards out of them, and I also had them taped up on my wall so I could move them around on my wall. And that's the first one where all those lines, sometimes I say, if I have a song, if there's a rock I can put my foot on when I'm singing it, I tend to sing it more. And I was trying to do that more. And so there's a few songs on here that I made up the same way that I would do the whole Hard-Working Americans thing, where I was just taking words that didn't necessarily, like each different line for each song of that last song is a separate memory unto itself. And it so a song like that, I can play it a lot of times and go a million places. And I really like that style, and I do it sometimes still now. This song is the same way. Although I'll tell you, I did this with my old buddy Elvis, and I met Elvis in Detroit. We were playing a festival up on top of a building, and after my set, I was being interviewed by the radio people at a table. And across the way, I could see that security was throwing a guy out. And so I'm kind of being interviewed, and I'm kind of watching this. It's interesting. And then I noticed that the guy's gesturing towards me, the guy getting thrown out. And so I look, and we make eye contact, and he gives me this kind of like, come on, look, you know. So they came over and asked if he was with me. I was like, sure, he's with me. Then he came back with our group, and I said, can you roll a joint? And he said, on the head of a pin in a hurricane, I can roll a joint. And we took him on the road. And then we started making up this song over the notion. He and I made up two songs, but this was one day we found out that Alan Greenspan played the saxophone, and we decided that there could be a song about that. And then we worked on it, and eventually it became one of those ones I was pulling stuff off my wall for, and pretty soon Alan Greenspan was gone, and we didn't know what the song was about anymore, but it felt like we should finish it. So we finished it, and I recorded it. I loved the way it came out. And then when the record came out, I was on tour, and I think it was in Philadelphia, and I saw an article about the record. And in the article, they said this song is a mugger talking to the person he's about to mug. And I thought, that's good. So I called Elvis, and I was like, finally we know what this one's about, you know. And it's called In Between Jobs. And if you ever want to really check this out, in Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta says to his mom, can you dig it? I knew that you could. I don't know if you remember that. If I hit a nickel for every dime you had, I have half your money. You talk about not half bad, more like 10 times as good. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3. If I had a nickel for every dime you had, I'd have a half your money. You talk about not half bad, more like 10 times good. I don't know anyone that wouldn't want to walk around with more money if they could. If you could just come off a little bit of it, that would surely do me good. I'm in between jobs. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. Who can you dig it? I was hoping that you would. There's only one way to win at a shell game. Be the one that gets the other guy to play. You think I'm not bright, you might be right. I might have been born yesterday, but I was up all night. I might have come in here a little cross-eyed looking, but I'm walking out of here all right. I'll be wearing my dark sunglasses, because the sun still shines as bright down on you when you're in between jobs. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. Woo, can you dig it? I was hoping that you would. Seen $100 bill one time, leaning up against a chain link fence. I've been walking around outside, looking down at fences ever since. It's the root of all evil. Yes, I agree, and I suppose that the blossom of it would be my kind of poverty. I know how mad I'm getting just thinking about how much more you got than me, and I'm thinking now, what's keeping me from killing this guy and just taking his shit from him? Can you dig it? I knew that you could. Hey, Lord, can you dig it? I was hoping that you would. Ooh, can you dig it, mama? I knew that you could. Hey, Lord, can you dig it? I was hoping that you would. Hey, yeah, that was good. I like these songs, man. I enjoy playing them. This one was just going to be a poem, but again, I had to do an album, and just didn't have a ton of shit, you know, so it's hot in here today. So I took this old poem that I'd made up. I made it up just to amuse Don Was, you know. He's one of the neatest guys in music, and one of the most talented, too. And then it came time to make a record, and I thought, fuck it. The In the Beginning thing, too, that Brian made me fuck up at the top of the show was also, I didn't think it was going to be a song, you know. It just seemed like it was going to be a poem at the house. But anyway, this one came out good. And people yell for this a lot, but as you see, there's just tons of lyrics. But now that we have this thing, maybe on tour, if we ever get back, you know, I can do these types of songs. Let's see if I can do it. Met on a train going somewhere fast. You could see what she had right off. Together they built up an empire so fast that no one and nothing could stop it. He looked like a man of the people. She looked high as hell at the ball. Of course they made everybody so jealous, but no one could touch them at all. No, no, it was true love. All it was true. Well, they worked while their rivals was resting. They conquered the world and beyond. With each new insatiable ambition, they tested and strengthened their bond. He wasn't nearly as driven, she wasn't nearly as fun, but together they was mighty smooth combination. When it come down to getting it done, you know it was a true love. It was true love. Well, they amassed unspeakable fortune. She still wasn't satisfied. So he set out to find what she wanted, and then, man, what a hell of a ride, what a ride. They bought private jet planes and castles. They took every pleasure they could. But you know good loving comes with its troubles, and things wouldn't always be so good. No, 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 not true love. There was a few times when she cheated. There was even a few times when they split. But she helped him when he got arrested, and she put up with his drugs till he quit. Cause what mattered was keeping that feeling. What mattered was staying on top. Some say what's kept them together so long is feeling how far apart they could drop. It was true love. It was true. Well, these days he's calling her Brenda, but that wasn't always her name. Well, they've both been through so many changes as they weathered all the pressures that came. Not long ago she almost lost him, and the lesser man might have been dead. But just when she thought he might be giving up, he was back up in business instead. Of course, you know it's his true love. Tonight I'm sure he's in some tavern, drinking and smoking Indian. And I'm sure she's holed up in that office, crunching the numbers again. He's living it up while she's working, and I guess that's just about right. Mick Jagger was born on a Monday morning. Keith Richards was born on a Saturday night. It was true, true love. It was true love. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's fine. Boy, I got this neckerchicker tied up a little leather Tuscadero-y. Choking me. I feel like I'm being strangled by a weak guy. That's what Mitch Hedberg. Remember leather, though? She'd tie that shit all the way. And she had gesture. Remember Fonz had E with the thumbs. So when they came in, she had to have a... They needed a hand gesture and a slogan if she was going to roll with the Fonz. All right, so aside from the beginning, man, I feel like I'm doing good today. This that one was hard. If we didn't have these, I'd be stuck. Now this one might be my favorite. This is I think the first one where I just made it up and took stuff off my wall and kept waiting for it to make some sense. And I remember the whole thing started. I only got the one line about walking up a hill to get my fortune read. I wrote that down, and that's it. And then it matched with all this other stuff. Gray clouds rolling over my head. I'm walking up a hill to get my fortune read. I can still take this rejection, but it's getting harder to do. I wish I could show you how you've hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. The tennis shoes hanging from a telephone wire. I got a little money, I could get a little higher. I was alright for a while, but you know how it goes. Everything in moderation, including moderation, I suppose. I never did like the people where I was employed. They were always out to get me 'cause I'm paranoid. Now I'm working for myself, and that don't pay a lousy dime. If what we are here to do is learn to forgive, I'm gonna need more time. Too soon to tell, too soon to tell, too soon to tell. By and by, Lord, it's too soon to tell what's gonna happen to you when you die. Well, it's too soon to tell what we will ever avenge. They say that living well is the best revenge. I say bullshit. The best revenge is revenge. This isn't over, we're gonna meet again. Then I said, good Lord, if you're still up there, you have sure got some nerve. It seemed like even the wicked, we get worse than we deserve. We're afraid to die. If it got down to one of us, I swear to God, it's like you making fun of us and not worth keeping or too good to keep. If you've got a better secret than that, keep it from me. And if you're so God Almighty, well then what's with all this mystery? You know I would love to trust you, buddy, but you are clearly keeping secrets from me. Too soon to tell, too soon to tell, too soon to tell. By and by, Lord, it's too soon to tell what's going to happen to us when we die. At the fortune tellers on the second floor, in bright red letters hanging off of her door, it said close. I think it might have been some kind of a sign. I say, hey, don't give up on me now, baby. I think I could be losing my mind. I have just met too many people. I love them all too much. They're scattered all over this whole country. I can never possibly stay in touch with all of them. I'm traveling almost forever, it seems. You too will wake up one of these mornings. You'll have a lot more memories than dreams. Low gray cloud rolling over my head. I'm walking down the hill without my fortune read. I can still take rejection, but it does get harder to do. I wish I could show you how you hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. I wish I could show you how you hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. Yeah, I really like that one, man. I'll get this on me. Dick Dave was a friend of mine. So I'll tell you this. I have a few favorite places. San Francisco, of course. Santa Cruz, I think I talked about that. Go take a K-Pig vacation, man. Go to Jonas Beach. My favorite place, though, that I would recommend is Homer, Alaska. And they have it's just a really cool bunch of people. And there was like a commune headed up by this cat named Digger Dave. And my first trip to town, I fucking smelled it out. I ferreted it out. And I found all these cats, and they were playing Prine songs. And so I spent the afternoon there with them, and then found out this Digger Dave, their leader, he wasn't allowed in the bar. Let me see if I can do this. I listened to all these songs today, but some of them I don't play in so long. I remember, too, this is a true story, and I don't want to ruin it, but my friend Digger, there was this other guy down there that was always mean. He was mean to me. And I found out later that he had shot somebody, and this other woman I knew up there as part of the group, she took the gun and, well, I won't even have to play the song after this, but she took the gun and ran and put it in Digger's house, and to hide it. Anyway, so Digger Dave was a friend of mine, got himself into a bit of a mess one time, minding his business and drinking his wine when he heard a shotgun blast. It wasn't anything he hadn't heard before, but then that girl Christine come crying through the door screaming, "Yukon Jack told me to get rid of this thing and fast." Yukon Jack and Digger Dave, they sound like a couple of names that I just made up, but I'm telling you this is the truest story that I tell. She set down the gun, took off running, Digger Dave followed her, and they soon come up on that Death Wish kid from Michigan, laying there shot up all to hell. He'd had a death wish since he come up here from the lower 48, and they'd been up drinking vodka now for 2 days straight. When the first fight started, it was way too late for anyone to keep in the peace. No one could remember what the fight was about, but by all accounts, that kid pulled the first gun out. Defense, self-defense, beyond a shadow of a doubt is what they all agreed to tell the police. Digger Dave said, "Y'all are on your own with this." He walked over to AJ's, drank himself a half piss. Cop yellow tape was strung out all over the place when he finally come back out. A victim of circumstance, if ever there was one. The last time I saw him, he said that he had just done a year and a half of what he called letting a crazy bitch in his house. Got a new song, Bo. Say something like "Crazy Woman Blues, Crazy Woman Blues, Crazy Woman Blues. I never let you into my house. Crazy Woman Blues, Crazy Woman Blues, Crazy Woman Blues." Only one way to know how far is just far enough. You gotta go a little bit too far and then back up and hope hard luck ain't on your side. Town council had already agreed to meet about all of the drinking down there on Brunel Street. A little bit too late, I guess, at least for that kid who had died. Crazy woman blue, crazy woman blue, crazy woman blue. I'd never let her into my house. Crazy woman blue, crazy woman blue. Crazy woman blues, I never should have let that bitch in my house. Now, if you would, turn in your hymnals to the Book of Chrysanthemums, where it clearly states, "Thou shalt not fix what thou hast not busted." And with that in mind, I make these bold claims. Just give me a few seconds. Go take a leak if you want, but I'll tell you what. We're recording all these, and we're going to put out, how many is it? This is all this is coming out, right? So I'm going to do this again real quick. In the beginning, man wondered to himself, why are we even here? And yet with each asking of this question, the answer would become less clear. Overwhelmed by fear, it was distraction took its place. And so it must have been in the world's first shelter that they begun the human race. The human race to fill up more and more empty space. And oh, how we must have loved the human race. Until one day this one guy said to this other guy, he said, hey man, you seen that guy over there? Seems like he's got more than any of us ever got. To me, that just doesn't seem fair. Well, the second guy agreed with the first guy. Everybody else did too. They all got so worked up that they figured they knew what they needed to do. They would divide all his stuff up among each other. After they killed him, of course. For they could see no real good reason not to just take what they wanted by force. But when they found him, he said, hey, wait a minute, fellas. I wouldn't kill me just now. You can see that I got more than any of you ever got. Wouldn't you first at least like to know how? And with that, he had their attention. And with that, he went on loud and clear. He said, you all know how long you have always wondered. We've wondered why, oh, why are we here? Well, today I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm going to teach you about suffering and bliss. I'm going to teach you all a little about a heaven and a hell and a God that gave me all this. Said God gave me all this because I'm humble. And he could do the same for you too. But if you're seeking his love in a fiction, what you are doing is the last thing I'd do. You see, God sends killers to hellfire, both here and then again eternally. And the good live forever in a beautiful heaven. God told me that personally. Who you gonna trust if you can't trust me? So unless you want suffering and heartache, unless you want troubles and fear, well, you better find some kind of way to humble yourself. May I suggest helping me clean up around here? Of course, I could pay you a little money to do it, but then again, more importantly, the good Lord would see. He'd see that you was working humbly for something, and he would reward you the same way he's rewarded me. Well, the crowd didn't know what to do with that information, nor could they prove that what he was saying wasn't true. And since he had what everybody else thought they wanted, Lord, it seemed like the thing to do. And with that, we've rolled into this future. And ain't it a son of a bitch to think that we would still need religion to keep the poor from killing the rich? Ooh-wee. Who you gonna trust if you can't trust me? There, that worked. That might work. Oh, I got stripes and checks and this nice sweater. Lindsay McDonald, my first manager, we lost her just last week, and she gave me this sweater. Also, Sis Francis, the Francis family, we grew up next door to each other, and we were all incredibly close. And they lost their mom, Sis, last week. I know a lot of people are struggling out there. I thank you for giving me something to do on these weekends, and hopefully we can get back out and see each other again eventually. This song, I knew I was going to end the record with it because it's called Big Finish, and the first song was going to be in the beginning, you know. But so I only fucked up one this week and nailed it. And then if I get an encore, I'll patch up some of the shit I messed up last week. So really stomp your feet. Anyway, thank you for spending this time with us. Also, I don't want to forget to send this out to my buddy Robert Bailey, who sang with us. He's we're at the end with him, and so send your good thoughts. And Debbie, I'll send this out to you. Our thoughts are with you. And I used to like to come out and open, do the encores with this one, because the way it starts, it says. Take your time. Tell me slow. Should I stay? When we both know you thought you knew what I was about to say, but you didn't know, and you always think you do. Let me tell you something, baby. I've been looking back over my shoulder. It's not you that I've got to blame. If I could do all this all over, I would do nothing the same. Seemed like the right thing at the time. It seemed like the right thing at the time. Oh, 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 oh. I try to remember. It helps me forget that the older I get, yeah, baby, stand on. The older I get, the more I worry, that the more I worry, the older I'm gonna get, and yet I still worry about that. Ain't that about a son of a bitch, I tell you. Some guys can't take no for an answer. Some guys can't take yes for an answer. I don't know how for sure I ended up here, but if I had to guess, I guess I'll give this for an answer. Seemed like the right thing at the time. It seemed like the right thing at the time. Oh, oh, oh. Trying to find some kind of way on cope. Well, I've got to admit, it ain't so much the despair that gets me as it is the hope. There's always hope, I'll tell you. When I found myself in possession of these car keys, I just naturally assumed that I could drive. Ooh-wee. Seemed like the right thing at the time. Lord, it seemed like the right thing at the time. Oh. Oh, 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 tuning in to the First Agnostic Church of Hope and Wonder on this blessed Sunday. I wish the best to you and yours. Wear bright colors and stay low. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the late show, folks. How many weeks have we been doing this? I gotta get the, oh, okay. This is one I screwed up. Remember the first one last week? I fucked it up too, so just bear with me and I'll get this. I don't know what you guys are doing today either. It's chilly out there, so I'm gonna do a couple makeup jams and then maybe I'll play a couple after that. Don't feel like you gotta hang around and don't feel like you gotta donate or any of that either. Just appreciate you giving us your energy on these Sundays. It's fun. It feels like there's someone to play to. It's kind of like a radio visit, or So thank you, and we'll hope to see you next week. We're going to tackle the Cash Cabin next week. Isn't that right? Okay. This came off of the new Excitement Plan. Found a 4-leaf clover in my yard today. It had 1 leaf missing off it, but that was okay. Looking it over, I could easily see 4 is only really just 1 more than 3. That's close enough for me. Must be my lucky day. A slim chance, still a chance. I say that again. A slim chance, still a chance. I say, whoa, 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 hey, hey, you don't necessarily have to pay the fiddler to dance. We got the Christmas lights shining. It's on the 4th of July. We got the radio playing. We're watching cars go by. I keep living in the lap of poverty. She made me feel like I won some kind of lottery. The way that she keeps looking over at me, I'm like, oh. Slim chance, still a chance. I say a slim chance, still a chance. Oh, whoa, 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 oh, hey, you don't necessarily have to pay the fiddler to dance. I say, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh, hey, hey, you don't necessarily have to pay the fiddler to dance. Yeah, I always like that one. I'm gonna do this one. Can you pull up that song? It's called Anywhere. I jacked that up a couple weeks ago. And then the only other one I think is, there might be more. We'll do them next week if we can think of them. Think of how many I've got right, though. Let's focus on that. Operation Warp Speed. Sky full of birds in a flying V, moving down through Tennessee. Look a little like you and me, you know. The car full of gas on the Natchez Trace, changing lanes in the same old race to find some kind of warm place to go. I don't know what we're running from, but look how far we've come anyway. Hey, baby, I ain't afraid to be your man. I don't need a destination. I'm not waiting for a plan. Let's get out of here. I'll go anywhere with you. Let's get out of here. I'll go anywhere with you. I've heard people say they had it made back someplace where they wish they'd stayed. I'm still not afraid to take a chance. I've always thought there was something wrong about hanging around in one town too long, working that same old worn-out song and dance. I wanna dance to any drum with you. We ain't got nothing to lose either way. Hey, baby, I ain't afraid to be your man. I don't need a destination. I'm not waiting for a plan. Let's get out of here. I'll go anywhere with you. Let's get out of here. I'll go anywhere with you. Yeah, I knew I liked that one. You know, I'd probably be a great boyfriend. Let me just try this one. I've told you this story a million times, but I jacked it up. And this is one of my favorites. There was a time when I was handsome, babe. There was a time when Lord, there was a time when I had money to burn. There was a time when where I landed, Lord, that was the least of mine. Yeah, that was the least of my concern. But it hurts leaning back in these handcuffs. It's like 9 kinds of shame turned to rage. As a young man, I might have put up a fight, but I just feel like such a fool at my age. A lot of these troubles, it'll just find me. It don't seem to matter which way I turn. How do you know it's too late? Well, how do you know it's too late? How do you know if it's too late to learn? You know the number one symptom of heart disease, the number one symptom of heart disease is sudden death. It's like time stands still forever on you till it starts shaking around. Or you start shaking around like some crazy old hooker on meth. And you know me, I can't take no preaching. I don't like it on Sunday and no other day. But I feel like I ought to be praying or something, and I have no idea what you say. A lot of these troubles, they just find me, Lord. Most of these troubles, oh, I know I earned. How do you know it's too late? Well, how do you know if it's too late? How do you know if it's too late to learn? Relax your mind, relax your mind. It make you feel so good sometimes. Sometimes you got to relax your mind. Hey, if your light turn green, put your foot on that gasoline. Sometimes you got to relax your mind. Sing with me at home. Relax your mind, relax your mind. It make you feel so good sometimes. Sometimes you got to relax your mind. Okay, so then if the light turn red, well, put your foot on the brake instead. Sometimes you got to relax your mind. All right, all right, all right. Relax your mind, relax your mind. It make you feel so good sometimes. Sometimes you got to relax your mind. If the light turn blue, well then I don't know what to tell you to do. But sometimes you got to relax your mind. Relax your mind, relax your mind. It make you feel so good sometimes. Oh, sometimes you got to relax your mind. Well, thank you for coming out to see us this evening. We wish you the best of luck in the coming new year. And remember, if you've been drinking and you're driving, drive fast and take a lot of chances out there on your way home this evening, and that way they'll have you pulled over when we come swerving on by. Relax your mind, relax your mind. It make you feel so good, feel so good sometimes. Sometimes you gotta relax your mind. Hope y'all have a pleasant Valley Sunday, and I'll see you next week. Go Titans. If I live fancy free, I love just the gypsy in my soul. There's something calling me way over yonder. That's just the gypsy in my soul. There's something calling me way over yonder. That's just the gypsy in my soul. No cares, no strings in my heart. Just sing. No string, no string. My heart has a wing. There's something calling me